Hello, yet again from Universal Orlando. So today I'm here to do not really a challenge, more of an experiment. So several months ago, last year, actually, I went to Disney and I timed how long it took to take the various methods of transportation from the Transportation and Ticket Center to the Magic Kingdom, and I timed them all and I wanted to see which one was the fastest, most expedited method, and then the slowest method. I'm gonna sort of do that here. I'm not gonna ride every method of transportation, but I want to see how long it takes to utilize the water taxis and the buses and just walk from the various resorts around Universal here to the theme parks. And I'm curious how long that's going to take. It's not really more of a challenge, more than it is just a curiosity, but let's head over and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, I've made it through City Walk, and as I'm sure you're probably very well aware, Islands of Adventure is right over there. Universal Studios Florida is away over there. The boat launch for the water taxis are right down there. That will take you to the various Universal Orlando resorts that are on the waterway. Here you can also elect to take a bus. That's going to be back at the security hub way back there, or you can walk either right over there by the Universal Arch or way over here on the other side of Margaritaville to take you to the resorts as well. So what I'd like to do today is try a combination of transportation methods to get to a few of the hotels around Universal's property here. So on the other side of Islands of Adventure, way over there, are Cabana Bay, Aventura, there's Sapphire Falls, and Royal Pacific. And then over on the other side of Universal Studios, way over there, are the Hard Rock Hotel and the Portofino Bay Hotel. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just walk over to Portofino Bay and just time how long it takes to get to both Hard Rock and Portofino Bay. Then I'm going to take the water taxi back and then time how long it takes to wait for the water taxi and how long it takes to get back as well. And then I'm going to go over here and I think I'll walk to Cabana Bay and then maybe take the bus back. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I think I'm gonna go and hop on a boat right now as they pull on up. No, I'm not. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna take the boat back. That's what I'm gonna do. I could very easily take the boat over to Portofino and then walk back, but it's a bit of a lengthy line. Right now as the parks are getting close to closing currently, so I think my best bet will be to just walk over and then take the boat back. Although I'm pretty open to all the forms of transportation to get around Universal because it's more of a casual experience today. Again, not really much of a challenge. So sort of similarly to my transportation and ticket challenge over at Disney, I think there needs to be a certain point that I need to try to get to so I can accurately time how long it takes to both walk and take the water taxi down here. Jeez. That scared me a little bit. So I think that's going to be probably, should it be the Globe or over by the Arch? Okay, so I think the point that I want to stop my stopwatch is going to be right here, right at the entrance of Universal Studios Florida. So this will be the point that I'm going to get back to, that I'll be timing myself both walking and taking the water taxi. So right now I'm heading right over here. This is the walkway over to the Hard Rock and Portofino Bay, and I'll start as soon as I pass by security. All right, I have started my stopwatch. I made it through security right back over here. The Arch is somewhere back over here. And I'm not planning to stop. I'm planning just to walk directly to Portofino Bay, just pass by the Hard Rock and just kind of notate how long it takes to get to the Hard Rock and then on to Portofino. And then again, how long it takes to get on the boat back to where I started, back over there. This walk is very relaxing just to get over to the Hard Rock and Portofino Bay. And I didn't take this when we stayed at Portofino Bay about a couple months ago. We could have taken this walkway, but we liked it to take the water taxis. But Dennis did go this way and he actually beat us back to the resort while we were waiting for the water taxi. I'm gonna take a quick 10-second detour down here by the water just to see what it looks like down by the water, because I realized I said I was going to start my stopwatch on the other side of security, but I made a whole point about starting it over by the arches. So I'm going to make up for that time right now. That would have taken me to walk from that point over to security, and I think that I probably made up for it. This is the other side of City Walk right here. And now I'm continuing my walk to Hard Rock Hotel in Portofino Bay. Did that make sense a little bit? I think so. Right now all of the sprinklers are currently on and soaking the pathway, getting my ankles all nice and damp. This is like a secondary path. There's one right over there, but then there's one that kind of goes a little bit closer to the water over here, which I don't mind. That's the way that I came from right there. This is the main path. I think looks like there's another little area over there. But I am trying to be as accurate as possible in terms of trying to see how long it takes to get to the hotels while walking. I'm not trying to walk super fast, but I'm not taking my time. I'm doing just a casual stroll. Yet again, another pair of paths to choose from. They probably meet back up in the middle. I'm gonna take this one, this slightly smaller one that's again being soaked by the sprinklers currently. And there's the boat that's probably gonna beat me. Literally, look at this. It's just watering the sidewalk currently. That would have been really nice at Volcano Bay. Still sunburned from that trip. And the bottom of my feet are quite... Oh, come on! Jeez, the bottom of my feet are red still. This is literally watering the sidewalk instead of the plants and the vegetation and the horticulture. I'm gonna try to time this. Okay, I think I'm good. And then there's the main path. Okay, so it looks like they have like the main way to get to and from the resorts, and then just little additive trails, I suppose, just to add on a couple seconds, honestly. And if you're walking normally, it doesn't really add on that much time. And again, how long it takes me to get to the hotels walking is going to be, you know, subjective to how long it actually takes an average person. But I've pretty much made it to Hard Rock. Wow, that kind of just surprised me. There go the boats over there. There's the security checkpoint, the dock for the Hard Rock. Over here, this is the butterfly garden, which has always been very nice and beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop my stopwatch. I'm not gonna stop it, but I'm gonna notate how long it takes to get to the Hard Rock once I pass the security checkpoint right here. All right, and it took me about 7 minutes and 45 seconds to make it to the security check, the bag check for the Hard Rock Hotel. So let's see how long it takes to get to Portofino Bay, which is a little bit farther away. This pathway is very quiet. I don't think there's any alternative pathways to get to Portofino. I think it's just a straight shot all the way back over there underneath the bridge. And then again, all the way to the security bag check. That's when I'm gonna officially stop the clock and see how long it takes to get from where I was standing, more or less, in front of the arches to Portofino Bay by walking. Not too long ago, I was up there rollerblading along the roads of Universal. Just to say that I've done that because I rollerbladed around SeaWorld, so I thought I'd do it here at Universal too. And then I eventually kind of did it over at Disney, towards Disney Springs at least. All right, so I made it underneath all three bridges, and here I am at Lowe's Portofino Bay Hotel. And the boat looks like it just arrived, and it's taking on passengers right now, which means I'll definitely have to wait for the next one. So we'll see how long that takes. I think I'm gonna stop my time when I get to the bag check over there, and then I'll start it once I actually go through the bag check and just see how long the whole process takes. There's still a little bit of a walk to make it all the way over there. This is the entrance to Portofino Bay right here. This is where you'd drive in right there, but I still have to go all the way around here to get to the bag check. It's funny because when Brennan and I stayed here a while ago, we stayed in one of these rooms right here, and my parents and I and Dennis and Brennan stayed in those rooms kind of right there. So we've never really gotten to stay in this part of the resort, so hopefully we can do that at some point. I want to stay here again. All right, I am almost there, probably just another minute or so. There's the water taxi leaving right there. This is such a beautiful resort, and every time that we've ever stayed here, I've always felt like we needed more time to really experience it and appreciate it, because we've only been here a couple nights collectively over the couple of years that we've stayed here. All right, I am almost there. I know that security doesn't really like being filmed, so I will tell you how long it takes as soon as I make it through security, and then I can start my stopwatch for, I suppose, the wait for the boat to come back, and then the journey back to Universal. Okay, so never mind. They're actually taking a little while to get some people through the security point there. So it took about 16 minutes and 45 seconds, give or take around 30 seconds probably, to get to Portofino Bay from the arch of Universal Studios Florida. Okay, so the boat is here. That took about 7.5 minutes. I don't know if you can see that for the boat to get here. Let's see how long it takes to actually get back to Universal. It could be pretty close. Okay, so that was pretty perfect. Waiting for the boat to get back, getting here as soon as the other one is left to get a pretty accurate representation of how long it takes for one boat to leave and one boat to get here. The interval of time in between boats, more or less, takes about 8 minutes, I suppose, but off to Universal. Okay, so we're underneath all three bridges. Now we are really moving. I'm a little bit excited. Like, it could actually legitimately be pretty close. There's the dock for the Hard Rock right there, which it doesn't look like we're stopping at. I know that water taxis do stop at this dock. I don't know if it's the Portofino Bay one, or maybe that's just a certain time of day that it stops there. Those sprinklers are still on right now, soaking the sidewalk. Look at all of them. It's the little make up some time. There's the bridge, which means the bag check is right there. And there's the Universal Studios Florida Arch. There's the Universal Globe. Nice and back over the arch right behind it. And we should be spinning around here and parking right at the dock for the water taxis. I don't want to tell the time until I actually get there, but right now it is going to be very, very close. I'll tell you that. I'm very excited and nervous. I know that how long it takes to wait for a boat and how long it takes for the boat to actually get here is probably a very differing experience every single time. Like, there's not going to be an exact identical interval of time in between waiting for boats, but it's still fun today in particular when I'm trying this. Okay, that's the boat that I just got off of, and now I am walking, trying not to speed walk, trying not to walk too slow either, but I'm casually walking over towards the arch at Universal Studios to officially end my time in terms of how long it took me to wait for the boat and how long it took to get here. I think there's a boat going by right now for the Hard Rock, potentially, unless they're really just getting those boats over towards Portofino Bay. That's pretty cool. I'm almost there, so I think that this is going to be my place to time for the resorts over here, like I was talking about, Royal Pacific, not Royal Pacific, the Hard Rock and Portofino Bay, way back over there. So the other resorts are going to be over by Islands of Adventure. That's where I'm going to start and stop my time frame. Okay, so the final time was about 18 minutes and 45 seconds to make it from Portofino Bay all the way over to Universal Studios Florida. At least today, waiting for the boat took about 8 minutes. So the actual boat itself is obviously faster than walking, but today it took 18 minutes. It took longer to take the boat than it took to walk. Again, plus or minus 30 seconds for incidental situations here and there, but still the fact that it took longer to take the boat than it took to walk was very, very surprising. I do prefer walking, but you'd expect the boat to be a lot quicker, which it probably usually is, but today, apparently not. So now I'm heading back through the water taxi area over towards Margaritaville and the Porch of Indecision, because that is the start of the walkway over to Royal Pacific and Aventura and Cabana Bay and Sapphire Falls, all the way over there. Okay, so I think I've decided what I want to do. I think I'm gonna walk to Cabana Bay and notate how long it takes to get to Royal Pacific and Sapphire Falls and Cabana Bay, because that's the farthest away, and then take the bus back to the security hub and take a bus from the security hub back to, I think, Sapphire Falls, and then take the water taxi from Sapphire Falls back here. Okay, so I think I've changed my mind yet again of how I want to do this. This is the Margaritaville Porch of Indecision. This is the walkway over to Royal Pacific and Sapphire Falls and Cabana Bay. And what I think I want to do, because I've been looking at the map here on the phone, the Universal Orlando map, so there are two different walkways, one that connects over to the boat launch of Sapphire Falls and the one that continues on to Cabana Bay. So I think I'm gonna walk to the boat launch of Sapphire Falls and then take the boat back over here and then walk again back to Cabana Bay and then take the bus back to the security hub back there. That scared me, but first I need to try to find a spot in front of Islands of Adventure so I can start this. Okay, so we need to find a spot to both start and stop my timed experiment here, which I think is going to be right here in front of the Islands of Adventure lighthouse, so I can go and start my time and set off for Sapphire Falls. There goes a boat right down there somewhere. Where is it? There it is. And I'm heading over towards the security check right there. I started my stopwatch, and I'm curious to see how long this takes. Hopefully before the sun goes down, I complete this. Okay, so I made it through security. I'm heading this way towards Sapphire Falls. I guess another one of the methods of transportation that I could have taken is the Surrey bike, that you usually have to tip to take that, so I don't think I'm going to count that one. Honestly, I'm not really sure if they are an option right now. I haven't seen them in a little while, but they would usually transport you to and from at least Royal Pacific, I'm pretty sure, and they were pretty fast. Right here, this is the longest part of the walk over to Royal Pacific, because you have to go all the way around and all the way over there. This is a pretty long walk, definitely as long as the walk over to Portofino Bay, probably. It's a very pleasant walk, though, one of my favorites, probably. Just very quiet, calm, and relaxing, unless one of the Surrey bikes is coming at you at 20 miles an hour. So Royal Pacific should be on the other side of this bridge here, if I'm not mistaken, and then past that I can choose either to continue on to Sapphire Falls or then cross another bridge and head over to Cabana Bay, I think. Yes, so this bridge right here, this is the walkway over to Cabana Bay, and apparently, according to the signs over here, also Sapphire Falls. But I think I'm gonna head straight for Sapphire Falls, but this would be the way to loop up and around and over the bridge for Cabana Bay. So I'll do that in a little bit. So I think I'll stop the time for Royal Pacific once I get to the pool area, but I know that if I walk past the pool area, I can also kind of find a walkway that will continue over to Sapphire Falls, and then I can take the boat back, the water taxi. When Brennan and myself stayed here, we stayed in one of these rooms, I think, right up here. This has just been a nice little literal walk through memory lane, just staying at all these Universal resorts. Passing by the bamboo right now. This is one of the entrances to the pool, so I guess I'll be stopping my time for Royal Pacific here in just probably about half a minute or so, maybe a minute. Okay, I'm gonna stop it at the water taxi up here because that's what I've been consistently doing this entire day, so why stop now? This is a lot of fun. I really do enjoy this. The weather right now has been phenomenal. Like at the very end of the day, I just want to try to finish this before the sun goes down. Okay, so I've made it to the other side of the pool area here, and this is the boat launch, more or less, for Royal Pacific. Yep, right here. So according to my time, it took about, can you see that? Pretty much about 10 minutes exactly to get to Royal Pacific. But now I'm continuing on, I guess, this direction over to Sapphire Falls. Right over here, these are ballrooms. Some of these are restaurants, or used to be restaurants. It's kind of a quiet part of Royal Pacific, but integral to the resort nonetheless. I think this is also where the buses would be for Royal Pacific, right over here. I think, or at least for the meeting areas here, the ballrooms. But here's my little pathway that's gonna wrap me underneath the bridge and then over to Sapphire Falls. Look at this. See, I didn't need to take the pathway over there. This one works just as well and is honestly a little bit prettier, I think. So this is what I meant in terms of a secondary path over to Sapphire Falls. Even though the other one does connect to Sapphire Falls, I think this one is a little bit better because it connects to the boat launch, and you can pretty much take that directly up to the lobby. So I love this pathway quite a lot. Need my hair to cooperate here a little bit, but the sun is starting to go down. Myself and Brennan have definitely stayed at Sapphire Falls the most because it's always been the most affordable, the most relaxing. I just love the theme of this resort. I love the water taxi access to Universal and the walkability. Honestly, it's just such a beautiful resort, and it has just relatively recently reopened, so I would love to do a little staycation here again at some point. That would be nice. That'd be a little shred of normalcy, I think. Wow, I can already see quite a line for the boat to take it over to City Walk here at Sapphire Falls. That's going to be interesting, and I'm going to start and stop my stopwatch once I get to security. You can kind of sort of see Aventura poking up over there. I'm not really including that one in this list because it's so adjacent and so close to Sapphire Falls, so it doesn't really, I don't know, I don't think it really counts. Alright, so I've made it to the security checkpoint, so it's time to check my stopwatch, and it looks like it took about 14 minutes and 30 seconds to make it to Sapphire Falls. So there goes the water taxi. Just missed this one, hit capacity. So myself and a few other people are waiting for the next one. I went and I started my stopwatch pretty much when I started to go through security. So I'm gonna see how long it takes just to wait, just like I did over at Portofino Bay. How long it takes to get back to City Walk from here. Alright, and about 15 minutes later, the boat is finally arrived, so this is definitely going to take the longest to get back over to City Walk and all the other forms of transportation, probably. Okay, heading away from the Sapphire Falls dock back to City Walk. I'm a little bit nervous. The sun is almost set. Probably it's going to set, I'd say, in an hour, most likely. Just going to point out all the rooms that I've stayed in at Sapphire Falls, but there have been a lot. There was one back by the dock right there. There have been a couple in this wing right here. We've stayed in a lot of rooms in this resort. So there are designated boats that pick up at the Hard Rock Hotel and Royal Pacific, but I do think that there are times a day where one boat will probably swing by both the Hard Rock and Portofino Bay, and one will stop by Royal Pacific as well as Sapphire Falls, but I'm not totally sure. So now I just need to get back to the lighthouse and in my time for this, and then walk back again and then cross over this bridge right the lighthouse and Islands of Adventure, but I can already tell you that it took a lot longer to do this than any other method of transportation today, which is it's because I missed the first boat, but that can happen. So passing by this sign again, I realized that I forgot a couple resorts. All the way down here are the Surfside and the Dockside Inn and Suites over at the Endless Summer Resort, but I am not walking all the way over there. So those are just gonna have to stay all the way over by International Drive, and I'm just doing the main area of Universal today. There's the Porch of Indecision. It's getting a little bit busier as the sun is setting and the park is closing, which is kind of a big reason why I didn't really want to take the water taxi from the dock over here, because I thought it'd be a little bit busier with the people leaving the park. Okay, so let's see how long it took me to get back to Islands of Adventure. I'm walking up to my spots right now, and it looks like it took about 28 minutes and 15 seconds to make it back to Islands of Adventure from Sapphire Falls, taking the water taxi. Okay, so I restarted my stopwatch. I'm heading back to the Porch of Indecision to head over to Cabana Bay to take the bus back to the security checkpoint, I guess, before it gets dark, ideally. The idea of ending this back by the security hub was for convenience, because I wanted to take the bus back there and then head back to the garage, but if the entire point of this is to stop my time to get back to Islands of Adventure, then I have to go all the way back to Islands of Adventure. How about that? Okay, I made it to the Porch of Indecision. By the way, I just met a couple people who wanted to be in the video, but I couldn't really hear them in the video, so if you didn't make it in, I'm really sorry. But it was very, very nice to meet you. I've met a few cool people today, actually. I can still see how sunburned my nose is from Volcano Bay. Anyway, I made it over to the bridge over here, so I'm getting kind of close. I don't think I'm going to film the same experience twice, but I'm doing it again. I'm getting pretty close, though. I'd like to see if it takes a similar amount of time to make it to the points that I made it to before, at least, where I kind of had to choose which direction to go. That'll be interesting. Here comes another water taxi right there, and of course the bridge that I'm going to be crossing is right on the other side of this bridge right here, and then continues all the way over to Cabana Bay, goes all the way around Sapphire Falls. And here I am about to head across that bridge right there. Pretty sure that this just loops all the way around and then goes across the water right there. Okay, so if I wanted to go to Royal Pacific, I would continue along the path in this direction, but of course I'm heading to Cabana Bay. This is fun because this is the path that myself and Brennan took back when Sapphire Falls was being constructed several years ago. All right, I made it across the bridge. This is the little winding path that led up to the bridge. Right here, I went this way earlier to head over to Sapphire Falls, which you can see way over there with Aventura in the distance and Royal Pacific right here. But this is a nice little experience. I like this a lot. This is literally right across the street from Islands of Adventure, so you can hear Skull Island, Reign of Kong, you can hear Jurassic Park River Adventure, you can hear the Hulk launch. I think right over here is Dudley Do Right's Ripsaw Falls and the Dr. Doom's Fearfall right there. See, there's the little path that I took right over there, following the beach all the way over to Sapphire Falls. This way is probably a little bit quicker, a little bit more expedited, but I like that way. Maybe this isn't the quickest way though, because you have to cross the street right here, passing by the entrance to Lowe's, at least the ballroom portion of it. Okay, so I crossed the streets right back here, which didn't take that long, so that's good. I can see Sapphire Falls, which means the bridge over to Cabana Bay is coming up, so I'm getting pretty close, I think. I guess if you want to, you could walk all the way to Volcano Bay if you want to just head towards Cabana Bay and then walk through the Volcano Bay entrance over on the other side of the Cabana Bay Towers. You know, in retrospect, this would have been a much more pleasant sidewalk to rollerblade down. I think this is where I'd go to Sapphire Falls right here, which means in this direction will be Cabana Bay. And then for reference, right over there, that's where I rollerbladed last time. Right down there is the pool area for Sapphire Falls, which is kind of hard to see now, but I definitely remember seeing this entire area being constructed, which means that this is the bridge right here that'll take me to Cabana Bay. I've almost made it. I'm pretty tired, but I've had an awesome time today. I've never noticed this, but I'm passing by the giant signs telling you where to go for the resorts or the theme parks. The road that goes underneath this bridge right here. I don't really know where I'm gonna stop my stopwatch. I guess when I get down the ramp and I'll be at Cabana Bay, wherever I am. Well, I would go down the ramp, but this ramp is about 15 miles long, so I'm just gonna go down the stairs right here, to save a little bit of time. All right, and with that, I've made it to Cabana Bay, and it looks like it took about 19 minutes and 15 seconds. Again, give or take around 30 seconds or so. So here I am. But now we need to make it all the way to the front of Cabana Bay to hop on a bus back to the security checkpoint. I think what I'll do, to be fair to the water taxi launches, once I get to the bus station, that's when I'll start my stopwatch, waiting for the bus to take that back to the security hub. And then I guess the walk from there to Islands of Adventure. I don't think I'll have to go through security again, or will I? There's Aventura right there, and the bus stop is all the way over there. So I have to go all the way around Cabana Bay. This is probably taking a good amount of time. It's definitely taken a good amount of time. This has been the most haunting and tempting experience that I've had in a while, just going to all of the Universal Orlando resorts, or most of them, not really even going inside any of them at all. Definitely not going inside any of them, just going to the water taxis and the bus stations. Okay, so I started my stopwatch, so we'll see how long it takes to get back. Maybe pretty quickly, because I think I just have to walk up here, and maybe this bus will pick me up and take me back over to Universal. I think I will have to go through bag check again. I'll have to at some point, and I don't think it happens over here. No, it's not. Well, I totally just walked onto the bus, and it took about a minute. So that is pretty cool. So if it leaves pretty quickly, this will be the fastest method to get to Universal. It's interesting the Cabana Bay sign hasn't illuminated for the night yet. We are on the way over to the parking garage. Okay, there goes our bus, and now I'm heading up to, I presume, go through security right over here, because I did not get my security checkpoint. I did not get my bags checked by any security checkpoint thus far. Gotta get to Universal. Okay, so I made it through security. Again, I did go through security earlier. This is the first time that I've done it, at least in the most recent leg of my little adventure, if that makes sense. I'm a little delusional. I'm tired. I can't believe that I made it where I have to go to Islands of Adventure to end my little experiment today, if that's still what I want to call it. Look at all of the people exiting the parks. This is going to be a nightmare getting out of the garage. It's probably been pretty obvious, but Universal is very, very close to getting completely back to normal, which I'm incredibly happy about, but it's still a little unsettling. It's going to be a little uncomfortable for a little while, but normal's on the way, and I'm very happy about it. I am so close right now. The sky right now is absolutely beautiful. It looks like I just barely beat the sunset. All right, and from waiting for the bus at Cabana Bay, getting back to the security checkpoint, getting through security, making it all the way back to Islands of Adventure, it took about 21 minutes and 30 seconds or so. All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and head back to the garage before both of the parks are closed for the evening. I think Universal closed before Islands, so I think I have a little bit of a head start. It wasn't really a discernible end result from this experiment, other than I was mildly surprised at how walking was a little bit quicker than taking the water taxis in a few instances. And again, there's going to be a lot of different factors in terms of when you get to like a water taxi launch or a bus stop, and how long you wait for that transportation versus just walking, and also depending on what direction that you're taking it and what time of day that it is. So there's a lot of factors in there. But as far as today, my experience, I was pretty surprised, but ultimately had a great time. Got to go to all the resorts today, with the exception of Aventura and over at the Endless Summer resorts, but still had a good time. I definitely want to stay at those resorts again, or at least go to them and explore a little bit and have dinner potentially at some point. So it was a fun day, but I'm tired. I've walked a lot today. I hope you had a good time. I had a good one. I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.